Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for the final day of September, Monday the 30th of September 2019. I hope you've had a lovely month. I'm going to use the Trippin Weight Tarot for today's reading. And let's have a look at what the cards will need to be aware of. If you don't like bright colors, then this is not the deck for you. Look at that background, isn't that beautiful? I love anything bright. I love fairy lights. It's interesting, when I watched, there's this documentary called Bright Lights, and it's about Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. And Carrie Fisher at her house, if you looked at it, there was a bluebird in a cage, but it was electronic, and it lit up every once in a while, and it was amazing. I wanted to get one for myself. I contacted the guy who designed it. It was a guy in Japan, and one of those cages with a fake bird like that would have cost me $6,000. So I was really sad that I couldn't get one, but it looked so cool. She had the same kind of attitude that sparkling lights and bright colors and things, they stimulate the senses in a good way. And I react to color the same way. Ooh, we've got a lovely day here. Lots of nice people. Okay, first of all, we've got the Empress. And being the Empress is something. I mean, you're really in charge of a whole country. And not only are you in charge of a whole country, but you're doing a really good job of it. And when I say in charge of a whole country, I mean your life. So the country is a metaphor for your life, okay? So you're responsible for everything that's going on in your life. And it's not ashes and doom and gloom. It's rainbows and bumblebees and little rabbits. Love, comfort, abundance, pomegranates. Feeling celebrated, feeling special, loving the self. And the 3, this being the 3rd card of the major arcana, indicates that there's a new beginning or a fresh start. So emotionally, you're quite in touch with your feelings. And as they would say in the olden days, you're quite in touch with your feminine side, okay? So your emotional side. Then we've got the Queen of Cups looking at the Empress. And some of you are going to say this is stupid and it's a dumb interpretation. But the very simple thing that I see here is that for same-sex relationships, this is a good day to kind of connect, whether it's 2 women or 2 men, because the frequencies, they're different, but they work together. This is abundance and love and prosperity. This is nurturing and caring and Reiki. So they come together and work. So if you're a single gay man or woman, keep your eyes and ears open today, because it's a really good day for romance. Love is in the air. This looks like Easter, kind of, doesn't it? And it feels like Easter. It feels like a rebirth. So you're in a good place emotionally. The Queen of Cups herself is responsible for taking care of this cup. And she's turned it from being just a regular, beaker. A regular mug or cup or something. And she's turned it into a throne, because she's added bits and had gold made, and she's really made it a beautiful trophy that's worth a lot. It's got these beautiful, colorful pebbles at her feet. Those are all her children, or all of the lives she's touched. Each one of those pebbles and the different color is like a mood ring. She has created lots of relationships with people. Emotionally, she's completely present. She's turbulent emotionally, but the angels kind of stop her from drowning. So she has a unique insight into the watery world, the spiritual world, and the angels kind of hold her above water so she can see internally as well as externally. And that's why she's so good at taking care of people, because she can anticipate their needs. Because she looks at, oh, this is the time that she wants her cup of coffee and she's looking rather unhappy. And I feel the need for coffee in her. So I'm going to go get her one, you know? Very simply, in a practical sense, that kind of thing. It's also really good about self-care. It's really good for creativity, for art, for psychic work, for spiritual healing, for creativity, for singing, for families, for love and romance, for nurturing family members and people you feel close to and intimate partners you feel close to. And then finally we have the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is extreme. He's a court card and he's the Knight of Fire. So sometimes he comes rushing into a situation, trying to save the girl from being kidnapped in some sort of warehouse, and he comes in blazing, trying to rescue the girl, and he accidentally sets the whole warehouse on fire because he's just so over the top, and he burns the whole thing to the ground, and none of them make it out alive. Or he is so apathetic and dull that you can't motivate him to go anywhere or do anything or explore anything. So the Knight of Wands is really all over the place. Either he's all over you. It's like in a relationship when people are hot and cold, you know? One moment they're all over you, and then the next moment they couldn't care less. It's really frustrating sometimes. But what you definitely know here today is that the day is going to bring the heat. Okay? So there's either something that you're going to get passionate about in terms of what you're creating, or there's someone you're going to get passionate about in terms of your life in a loving way, but also there's the potential that you can get passionate about another person in your life in an angry way. So you may pick up a resentment about one of your co-workers, or you may get irritated with your sister or your boyfriend or whatever it may be. So if you know, there's a fine line sometimes between banter and joking around and being insulted, you know? And you always know when you find yourself in those situations, there's this light tension in the air, and you can always feel it kind of like hopping around. And when people start really feeling like, oh my God, I can't say anything without someone becoming offended, that's when an environment and a group of people, that's when it becomes awkward, and that's when people start to go inwards and they don't trust each other anymore, and it just spirals downward. So it's looking at the positive side and trying to devote yourself to something that you love, creating something that you love, meeting someone you love, or if you're already in a relationship, expressing your love for that other person passionately. And the choice is love or anger. It's fiery, flaming sparks of passion floating around today, or it's the fiery sparks of shouting at the receptionist. So I know which one I'll pick. And also, there's a real sense of self-care as well with the Queen of Cups. So if you're single and you don't happen to bump into the right person at the supermarket at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're by yourself at the end of the day, then you give yourself a pat on the back because you do things that you're passionate about. You're in a good place today. You feel like you've been able to express your love. So at the end of this day, this is my prediction, okay? I feel that by the end of this day, you're going to come home and you're just going to sit down and you're going to give yourself a pat on the back and you're going to say, well done, Edward. You have expressed your love for other people today. You've expressed your love for yourself, and you're doing that right now by honoring your performance, and that you've helped other people, and that you've touched other people's lives, and that you've done that with passion and joy and with a sense of purpose. And sometimes, yes, you got overly zealous. If you're a teacher, for instance, sometimes you'd get overly excited, and sometimes you'd be unprepared. Yes, it wasn't perfect. Maybe sometimes your temper flared up too easily, or you were very quickly zoned out and lost interest. So it wasn't perfect, but it was still a day worth doing that was exciting and fiery and enjoyable. If you think about fire and water, they're not the best buddies, you know? Throw a bucket of water on a fire and it goes out. Boil water and it evaporates. So it's about finding balance today. And it's about balance between taking care of yourself and others, or doing the opposite, really harming yourself by being unpleasant to other people. Because remember, what you put out, you get back. So if you storm into a hotel demanding an air-conditioned room where you're allowed to smoke, you're setting yourself up to irritate yourself and another person, because that's really unlikely to be available. So the receptionist is then going to say, sorry, we don't have those kind of rooms. And then you have your excuse to go off on someone. You know, it's that kind of day where you're like, okay, now I've got you. Now I can lay into you and let my bad mood just flow. Major Arcana card 3, court cards 1 and 1 is 2. So this is 5 altogether. So what you're able to attain is what we all want to attain, is emotional freedom, peace of mind, being able to let your feelings flow and to do something that you're passionate about, and that you really lose yourself in the moment, and there's something magical and wonderful that that you experience. You know, like when like that first kiss and everything else falls away, and the only thing that exists is the two of you in that intimate moment, and you can't believe it's happening, and it's just so unique. It's an experience that only you have, and no one can take that away from you. And this is the kind of day where you build memories, you make memories, because we remember the things that involve love, and the things where we were really touched and celebrated and all of those things. So it's going to be an amazing day. It looks like a fabulous start to the week. Emotional freedom, I mean, that's not bad. That's pretty good for a Monday morning. So have a wonderful day and a wonderful start to the week. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. I use tarot, astrology, and numerology in my personal readings. The monthly horoscopes for October are all out, by the way, for each sign of the zodiac. So if you're a sun sign Aries or a sun sign Virgo. The order of watching them, I suggest watching the monthly video for your sun sign first, and then for your rising sign. And if you really, really need more information, finally, for your moon sign. But I think it gets confusing if you watch 3. So I would just suggest, if you want as much info as possible, just try and gain as much info by watching 2. Sun first, and then the rising or the ascendant. Okay, that sign. So if you'd like a personal reading, then please head over to gregoryscott.com. Click on book your session now on the front page, or the readings tab to audio reading. I can answer any questions that you've got. If you like this video, then please hit the subscribe button. And if you're feeling super generous, then share the video online. I'd be ever so grateful. Have a lovely, lovely day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.